Dennis, it's so great to have you here. You have such a gift and talent, and I have just been thrilled to hear your music, and not only hear it, but I've been touched by the passion and just the words that you have shared with us. That's awesome. I understand you've been involved in Christian ministry for how many years?
Well, 1967 as a young guy. I was playing,
very young toddler, right?
Yeah, we were playing this coffee house in Hollywood called the Salt Company, and it was during the the rebellious times with the left and the right and everybody and the hippies and and drugs and the drug culture, and we were playing. It was a lot of fun. Went to Berkeley and played this little coffee house and got to witness. Got their attention by playing the guitar, and then got a little respect from them. Then I was able to witness Christ to them and talk about Jesus being a relationship, not a religion. And they were very open to it, believe it or not.
And so that started in 1967.
67,
and
right.
so the path you took was not of rebellion, but you followed Christ. So, so many questions, but let's just start off with when did you become a Christian, and when did you decide?
I was 11 years old. It was a January night and cold, and a friend of mine invited me to a youth thing, and it was only 4 of us, and I was in the second row alone, and this man walked in, one little light bulb in the church, and it's an old wooden, room, and he came in and spoke for about 40 minutes, and it's the first time I ever talked back to an elder. He said, "Anybody want to accept Christ?" I raised my hand. He said, "Stand up." I looked at him. "You sure you know what you're doing?" And I go, "You bet I know what I'm doing." I've never talked back to a person. And so I accepted the Lord. I've never known a person that's ever been sorry for becoming a Christian. And I was able to accept him and know that my sins were forgiven. We went to a small little church, 35 people in the congregation. The pastor was 75 years old when he started preaching. He bought this bar. He painted it white, and he put black letters on it that said church.
Oh, my goodness.
And so we were the only music department and the only youth department, and they were all senior citizens. So we played. He said, "You could play the songs. They've got to be hymns. Do it any way you want, but don't change the words." So we would do some wild things, on the guitar, and then, of course, do the lyrics, right?
Yes, that's right. So you played the guitar from a very young age.
Well, I was playing trumpet at that time.
Okay.
And I started picking the guitar up when I was 15.
Oh.
And so played the trumpet and played the mandolin a little bit and picked the guitar up seriously at 15 years old.
Did you, when you said picked up, did you have lessons or did you teach yourself?
I had lessons on the trumpet.
Okay.
So I learned all the theory and how to transpose and to sight read, and I was first chair trumpet and solo trumpet and all that. And that really helped me. So when I picked the guitar up, I taught myself the guitar. I really basically knew the triads and what to do and figured the neck out and was able to play it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe
my
if somebody
goodness.
else taught me, I wouldn't be playing the way I do now.
Oh my goodness.
So maybe it was a mistake. I don't know.
Well, since your time in as a Christian and following Christ and being involved in sharing music, you also got involved with Billy Graham and Franklin Graham. How many years have you been involved with them?
Well, believe it or not, in '67 when I started, I went to Berkeley because I was with Campus Crusade for Christ, and went to Berkeley, and they wanted to evangelize Berkeley. Well, Billy was there, and I was when I came out of this coffee house, I was witnessing to some Hell's Angels. There's like 30 of them. And the vice president was there of the Oakland chapter, and he was wearing a pin, "Win with God." So I tried to figure that out. What do you mean by the pin? It says "Win with God," and then you're a Hell's Angel. And pretty soon he's looking over my shoulder, and Billy Graham's standing behind me.
Oh,
and so I turn around, and I see Mr. Graham and Dr. Bill Bright with Campus Crusade, and I said, "Sir, please continue." And he said, "You're doing just fine." And then, I'm still witnessing to this Hell's Angel guy. We're talking about motorcycles because I wrench and work on motorcycles and Harleys, and I really liked racing, and he did. And so I was kind of using that to be able to talk about, the Lord. And Mr. Graham walked away. Well, I saw him another time, and then in 1974, I was invited to do his crusade in Lubbock, Texas. And I did all of his crusades from then on. And Franklin Graham and I became best friends. I met him there in Lubbock, and we're still best friends. We call each other every day.
That's
So,
awesome. And you participate and you perform, not really perform, I like to say that you share the gospel
yes.
through your music at all the different crusades.
It's a real honor. I've been with Mr. Graham way before Franklin did his crusades, and I had to give him a rifle to do his first crusade. He did it in Alaska. We were in Juneau, Alaska, and I said, look, if you give your testimony and preach, I'll give you this really fine Winchester rifle, you know, that he wanted. And so
You did
he
this to
preached.
Franklin?
Yeah,
Oh, my
he preached
goodness.
2 nights, and that was kind of the beginning of his preaching. And,
Oh, wow.
and he's done a tremendous job. And of course,
he
Mr.
has.
Graham, to work with him all over the world is it's the greatest joy a person can have. One of the
yes.
greatest people I think God has on this planet is Billy Graham. When you think of
Amen.
Lincoln, or you think of some of the great names in history, Washington, and Billy Graham will go down as a monumental name.
I agree with
to
that,
people.
totally. Well, I'm going to ask you a question about picking. I was reading that you are considered one of the best, is it flat-picking guitarists in the world? And I don't know what flat-picking is. So I'm hoping you'll take a time just to show me what flat-picking is. Okay,
You
that's
could do
a
this.
strum.
This is
Okay.
flat-pick.
Whoa.
That's flat-picking.
That was a lot of practice. But you
But
made it seem so effortless, you know?
I never told anybody that. Johnny Cash started that rumor. I played Malaguena for him in his dressing room, and we were. I was a guest of his at San Quentin Prison to go with him, and then he said, "Well, you're the fastest guitar player in the world." Well, they kind of picked that up, and you know, as an artist, I never tell anybody that. I want to be a good guitar player, not just a fast one. So I work at trying to do well, you know.
Oh, you do both, but I
Well,
just
thank you.
read that and I thought I had no idea what what was it called? A flat-picking guitar
Yeah.
player is. So,
Yeah, there's strummers and there's pickers.
okay, well,
Yeah.
you do both. You do both.
Well, thank you.
Well, and we're excited that you're also going to be playing on the guitar the Hallelujah Chorus.
Hallelujah Chorus. I know, yeah. After I play this, I got to tell you the story about how
Well,
that
please
came
go
about.
ahead and tell us about it now.
Well, I was with Mrs. Graham, and she said, "Why don't you do the Hallelujah Chorus from Handel's Messiah?" And I said, "Well, okay, can you learn it?" I said, "Yeah, I could learn it." I told her that. "Yeah, well, we'll see if you can learn it." And so I thought, okay, I worked on it a little bit, and I played it for her, and she looked at me, she said, "That was terrible."
Oh, my goodness.
Well, she was like that. We were
Yeah.
really good friends.
Okay.
Now, you go back, and tomorrow, you play that a little better. Well, I went back. I mean, that day I worked on it, and I came back, and I played the Hallelujah Chorus, and she said, "I'm going to have you do that in Bill's next crusade." So Billy Graham, she called him Bill, and so it's been doing the Hallelujah Chorus.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing it. So
Thank you.
So much. It was such
It's
a
an
joy
honor.
and delight.
Good to see
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Have-